Have you ever wondered how your country manages its foreign exchange market? Today, we're going to dive into an essential piece of legislation that does just that in India. It's called the Foreign Exchange Management Act, or FEMA for short. So, what exactly is FEMA? In simple terms, it's a law enacted in the year 1999 by the Indian Parliament, designed to regulate and manage the country's foreign exchange market. But let's break that down a touch further. At its heart, FEMA's primary objective is to facilitate external trade and payments. It does this by maintaining the orderly development and maintenance of the foreign exchange market in India. This means it's responsible for ensuring that the market runs smoothly and efficiently, helping to stabilize the country's economy and fostering its growth. But how does FEMA do this? Well, it operates on several basic principles. Firstly, it promotes the orderly development and maintenance of the foreign exchange market. This includes regulating transactions involving foreign exchange and managing the amount of foreign exchange that can be held by individuals or companies within India. Secondly, FEMA also seeks to prevent the use of the foreign exchange market for any activities that could harm the integrity of the Indian rupee or the nation's financial stability. This includes things like money laundering or other illicit activities. But perhaps one of the most important roles of FEMA is its responsibility for enforcing the regulations it sets out. This includes prosecuting any breaches of these regulations, ensuring that those involved in the foreign exchange market adhere to its rules. So, in a nutshell, FEMA is a comprehensive piece of legislation that governs the foreign exchange market in India. It's a vital tool in managing the country's economic stability and growth, ensuring that the market operates smoothly and efficiently, and preventing any misuse of this market that could harm the nation's financial well-being. In essence, FEMA is the rulebook for the foreign exchange market in India. So what are some key provisions of FEMA that you should know about? Firstly, let's talk about dealing in foreign exchange. This provision of FEMA stipulates that except as provided by the Act or regulation, no person shall deal in or transfer any foreign exchange or foreign security to any person not being an authorized person. So, essentially, it means that all foreign exchange transactions must be conducted through authorized persons, such as banks and money changers. Next, we have the provision on holding foreign currency. Now this one's interesting. Under FEMA, a person resident in India may hold, own, transfer or invest in foreign currency, foreign security or any immovable property situated outside India if such currency, security or property was acquired, held or owned by such person when he was resident outside India, or inherited from a person who was resident outside India. So, if you've acquired foreign currency or property while residing outside of India, or if you've inherited it from someone who did, you're allowed to hold on to it. Lastly, we should talk about the responsibilities and powers of the Reserve Bank of India, or RBI. The RBI is given broad powers under FEMA to regulate and manage foreign exchange in India. This includes the power to prohibit, restrict or regulate the acquisition or disposal of immovable property abroad, the transfer of securities between residents and non-residents, and the export and import of currency. The RBI's role is crucial in maintaining the economic stability of the country and ensuring that foreign exchange transactions are conducted in a manner that is beneficial to the Indian economy. Now, these may seem like a lot of rules, but remember, they're all designed to regulate foreign exchange and protect the interests of the Indian economy. So, while they might seem complex at first, understanding them can give you a better grasp of how foreign transactions work in India. These provisions form the backbone of FEMA and dictate how foreign exchange transactions are carried out in India. You might be wondering, how does all this affect me? Well, let's delve into that. FEMA, or the Foreign Exchange Management Act, impacts you in ways that you might not even realize. For starters, it's at play whenever you decide to venture beyond the borders of your home country. Let's say you've always dreamed of studying abroad. You've been accepted into a prestigious university overseas, and you're excited to embark on this new journey. But there's one thing you need to take care of: your finances. You need to pay your tuition, your rent, and your living expenses, all in a currency that's probably different from your home currency. This is where FEMA steps in. It regulates the process of sending money abroad for educational purposes, ensuring that your transactions are conducted smoothly and legally. Or perhaps you're a globetrotter, always ready to explore a new corner of the world. When you travel overseas, you exchange your home currency for the currency of the country you're visiting. FEMA governs this exchange, making sure you're getting a fair rate and that the process is transparent and legal. And it's not just about studying abroad or traveling. Let's say you're an investor looking to diversify your portfolio by investing in foreign stocks. Again, FEMA is there, regulating the flow of money into foreign markets and ensuring that your investments are in compliance with the law. In essence, FEMA acts as a watchdog, overseeing all foreign exchange transactions, big or small. Its aim is to foster a reliable and transparent foreign exchange market. So, while you might not think about FEMA every day, it has a significant impact on your life if you engage in any foreign exchange transactions. It's there, working in the background, making sure everything runs smoothly and legally. Thus, whether you realize it or not, FEMA plays a significant role in your life if you engage in any foreign exchange transactions. No law is perfect, and FEMA is no exception. So what are some challenges and controversies associated with this act? As we delve into the nitty-gritty of FEMA, it's essential to note that while it plays a significant role in maintaining the stability and integrity of India's foreign exchange market, it's not without its criticisms. One of the main points of contention is the restriction it places on certain transactions. FEMA, by its very nature, is restrictive. It controls and regulates the transactions related to foreign exchange. The Act outlines specific types of transactions that require prior approval from the Reserve Bank of India. These restrictions, while designed to protect the economy, can be seen as a hurdle by those wishing to engage in international business or investment. Some argue that these limitations hinder the ease of doing business and can deter foreign investors. Another controversial aspect of FEMA is the hefty penalties it imposes. If a transaction is deemed to be in violation of the provisions of the Act, the penalties can be quite severe. The Act allows for a penalty up to 3 times the amount involved in such contravention where such amount is quantifiable. In cases where the amount cannot be quantified, the penalty may go up to 2,000 rupees. And if the contravention continues, there's an additional penalty of 200 rupees for every day during which the contravention continues. Critics argue that these penalties are excessively harsh and can discourage entrepreneurial risk-taking. It's also worth noting that the enforcement of FEMA has been a challenge. With an increasingly digital and globalized world, keeping track of all foreign exchange transactions is no small feat. While the Act has provisions for the appointment of officers for its execution, some critics highlight the need for more personnel and better infrastructure to effectively enforce it. While FEMA has its shortcomings, it's also important to recognize its role in maintaining the stability and integrity of India's foreign exchange market. And that's the balancing act of any legislation, to protect and regulate while also fostering growth and innovation. So, what have we learned about FEMA today? Well, we've journeyed through the labyrinth of the Foreign Exchange Management Act, exploring its twists and turns, and hopefully shedding some light on its mysteries. Let's take a moment to revisit the key points that we've discussed. We began by understanding what FEMA is. Remember, it's an act introduced by the Indian government in 1999 to regulate the foreign exchange market. It replaced the Foreign Exchange Regulation Act, simplifying the rules and procedures for foreign exchange transactions and making them more transparent. Next, we delved into its key provisions. We discovered that FEMA governs every aspect of foreign exchange, from current account transactions to capital account transactions. It oversees the export and import of goods and services, the buying and selling of foreign exchange, and the borrowing and lending in foreign currency. It also establishes procedures for dealing with contraventions of its provisions. We then turned our attention to how FEMA impacts the average person. We found out that it affects individuals who engage in foreign exchange transactions, whether for travel, education, or investment purposes. It's important to understand that any violation of the regulations can lead to penalties. And finally, we discussed the challenges and controversies surrounding FEMA. We learned that while it has streamlined foreign exchange management in India, it has also been criticized for its stringent rules and penalties, which some argue can discourage foreign investment. In sum, FEMA is a comprehensive piece of legislation that governs all foreign exchange transactions in India. It has its strengths in promoting transparency and managing the foreign exchange market. But it also faces criticism for its strict regulations. Understanding FEMA can help you navigate the world of foreign exchange with more confidence and knowledge. Remember, knowledge is power. Thanks for tuning in.